Hello and welcome to the opening session of EBAday 2021. I'm Debi Bell hosking, and I'm joined by Wolfgang Ehrmann, Chairman of the Board of the Euro Banking Association, or EBA. We're going to be talking about our personal experiences of an all-virtual EBA day versus being there in person and on site. And of course, we're going to be talking about this year and what to expect, not to mention Wolfgang's not to miss list. So, hello, Wolfgang.
Hello, Debbie. It's my pleasure. Good to see you again. Unfortunately, only virtual and not on the exhibition floor. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you, Wolfgang. And you're right, we're back online. We haven't had the chance yet to meet in person. And thinking about last year, that was our first all virtual EBA day. And it was a learning curve for all of us, for me as a presenter, for the organizers, for the delegates, for the journalists even. But we did it. And it was a great success. It went really, really well. So on that point, Wolfgang, how would you rate an all virtual EBA day versus being on site and in person?
It's a good question, Debbie. This COVID-19 pandemic has speeded up the digitalization projects, not only in banks, also on the exhibition area. And I think we have two major differences. These digital events are only two-dimensional, and the face-to-face meetings have more dimensions.
You're teasing me, aren't you, Wolfgang? I am listening, I promise.
You see, this is one of the major things. This unmute factor. You often forgot to unmute yourself, and the other participants couldn't hear you. And the second thing is what I think is that you see in your own face the whole telephone call or video conference on your screen. And this is the differences between meeting face to face, because then you can see your partner you are talking to. You can see if he has a question or if he has another point. And so as we are as EBA, a network industry participant, it's very important for us that we are see ourselves, that we are meeting ourselves, and that we not only have these virtual exchange then. So social bubbles are very important to fight the pandemic, for example, but not for the collaboration, I think. So does it not everything take place in the echo chamber?
Yeah, and I've heard you talk about that echo chamber before, Wolfgang, and I totally get what you're saying. Wouldn't it be good to have a conversation where you're not looking back at your own image? That would be great. But that also brings us nicely to the values of EBA and EBA Day, and that is avoiding those echo chambers that you're talking about and encouraging multinational and cross-sectoral cooperation and exchange.
Yes, that's true. EBA is driven by the 3 Cs. It's content, it's cooperation, and I think most importantly, it's a sectoral crowd. Let me give you 2 examples for this. First of one is our open banking report. We had a group of, I think, 12 major European banks, and they sent their digital leaders or their chief digital officers to the projects so that they can share their insights from the digital transformation in the banks and around. And I think the second point is the request to pay survey. It's worth to mention. We did this survey with a lot of corporates in Europe and asked them what do they need that request to pay will be a story of success, or where do they see the pain points on this. So we asked these questions through our bank members to the corporates. And you can also see in a side event of the EBA Day. It's a side session on Monday where 3 corporates of different European countries exchange their views on this. And if you missed this, you can also download the survey report on our exhibitor page.
Okay, lovely. And that's all on the homepage. It's quite easy to find the things you mentioned, Wolfgang, by just looking at the left-hand panel on the homepage. And it's all there at a click of a button. And just referring back to what you said, you're right. EBAday is a good example of these 3Cs and tearing down that echo chamber. I mean, even virtually, I've just spoken about the platform, but it's designed to help you connect. So although we aren't meeting in person, it really is, and I've said this before, it's literally at your fingertips. Go down that
Mhm.
left-hand panel of the homepage, hit connect. If you're listening to an agenda, click on a picture of one of the speakers and you can actually connect directly with them. So absolutely, EBAday is still about connection. And that brings me to my next question. We're talking about connection, but what about diversity? And I was first invited to the floor of EBAday 2012, it was Edinburgh. And since then, I have watched EBAday prove that it's not purely an event for Europeans. And if you are to look at the speaker list for this year, you'll see speakers from Africa, Asia, Australia, and North America.
Mhm.
Wouldn't you say,
Absolute
Wolfgang?
true. Yes, absolute true what you mentioned, Debbie. It's a very good increase of participants, of speakers. We have also this year speakers from all over the world, like in our global seminar we are doing. And EBAday is more an European event, or was it in the past, if you mention 2012 in Edinburgh. This year, I'm very enthusiastic for the EBAday 2021. We have more than 40 exhibitors. We have 12 fintechs in our fintech zone. And I think we have nearly 2,000 registered participants that have signed up for our event. And you mentioned also the last year's first virtual event we had. We have further improved our technical platform. And I will also give you two examples for that. We have increased and improved the bilateral network possibilities so that it is much more easier to connect to other participants. And we have a lot of more themed sessions this year, moderated by payments professionals and with a whiteboard that will also be featured and done by a Finextra journalist then.
Mm, mm. And I quite like the idea of those whiteboards because if you've just popped into the theme chat room, you'll immediately get a
Mhm.
sense of what's happened before and after and participate as you join without feeling like you've got to catch up. And also the Finextra journalists, well, I found them particularly valuable last year in our all virtual event
Mhm.
when I was co-presenting with Sam and we were doing the morning intros. And they were a wealth of information telling me what was happening by the day if I couldn't attend any of the sessions. And absolutely, I got so much feedback from the themed chat rooms. So do go and join those because they really are a wealth of information. And you're part of the debate, aren't you? And there's
Mhm.
so much happening, Wolfgang. On our agenda, I've been having a
Mhm.
good browse around. I've written a little list here. I've seen about 17 live panels or roundtables, 85 speakers. We're looking at topics like request to pay, real-time payments, CBDCs and stable coins, open banking, and then you've got your recurring topics like ISO 20022 migration, correspondent banking, and intra liquidity management. I mean, that's a mouthful. There's a lot to talk about. And that leads me, Wolfgang, to ask you, what sessions do you not want to miss?
Oh, Debbie, I do not know how much time we have for this interview. If I give you now the list, what I will not miss, I give you some highlights. First of all, I think the challenge speech. This is really worth to listen to
Mm,
because it's like a view into a crystal ball about payments in the future. And I'm now working in the payments area for nearly 30 years. And in the last years, the speed of developments in the payment area increased dramatic. So it will be really interesting to hear what will be payments in the future. And also, I think it's very worth to listen to the two keynotes of UniCredit and Intesa San Paolo. They will give us an overview about new scenarios in payments challenges and opportunities. Opportunities, I think, not only for the banks, also for the customers of the banks. And we will also have a look into the benefits of digitalization in payments. And last
mm.
not least, the two strategic roundtables. I think they are very worth to listen to.
Absolutely. And those roundtables, again, those sponsored roundtables are really worth catching. Particularly, there's some at lunchtime as well, which are the sponsored ones.
Mhm.
Again, hot topics, a lot of chat around those last year. Talking about topics, Wolfgang, you've mentioned what you don't want to miss, but what are the topics that you
Mhm.
think are going to be the most interesting EBAday 2021?
I think one of the most interesting topics is the instant payments topic.
Mm.
As I'm responsible for payments for saving banks in Germany, I have also my own experiences and my personal way to the new normalization. As many people say, this is the new normal. And it's not longer the students who are paying the university fee in the last minutes of the day or over the night. It's also the increasing figures we have. In the last 3 years, we have dramatic increasing figures for instant payments. And so this brings me to the next step, the P2P payments. They are using in the German Saving Banks organization also these instant payments as the technical platform for the P2P payments. And this brings us then after P2P to the request to pay. This will open much more opportunities to leverage instant payments in the future.
And then you've got CBDC, that's a global topic. And I
Mhm,
see
mhm.
EBA Day's got speakers from talking about different angles and also implementation for Europe, Asia, and North America. What do you think about that, Wolfgang?
I think, as you mentioned, CBDC is a topic for all the banks all around the globe. And we have at the EBA side crypto technologies and smart payments and stablecoins working group. And they produced a very good report. And this will give a very good overview over the recent developments in these digital currencies area. And it makes also a very good assessment of how banks and also other PSPs can take advantage of these opportunities. And I think our working groups have now started at the second report on this topic for the CBDC.
And we got open banking as well, haven't we, Wolfgang? I mean, that's a big topic where I
Mhm,
am here in the UK. And progress has been driven by market players, but also strong regulatory agenda.
mhm. That's true. These regulatory topics is for the banks very important. And I don't say every time it's only regulatory topics. It's for us bankers a regulatory tsunami we have. Because in the last year comes one regulatory topic after another. And we are looking at the EBA in our working groups also on these topics, what they are having for the banks, and looking forward to the use of both now as they are participating here at EBAday as speakers, the BSI and also the European Commission.
And it'll be interesting to see what people are doing on the continent and globally around these topics. And Wolfgang, when we started this conversation together for your opening remarks, we spoke about the comparison between an all virtual EBA day and being there in person. And of course, it does beg the question, where will we be for EBA Day 2022? And the word on the so-called digital ground is that it could be Vienna. Is that right?
Yes, I do not know where you have the information from, but this is right. We have these digital transformation now in the payments area, but I'm pretty sure the next EBA day in 2022, and this will not be any more digital, it will be a face-to-face meeting, and then we will leave these digital factors and then go to a personal meeting again. And that's, I think it's the future for 2022.
Oh, absolutely. I think we're all looking for that interaction. And of course, Wolfgang, you're always talking about coffees on the EBA day floor. And you've been promising me that cup of coffee.
I promise this. That's right, Debbie. And I think we will have a cup of coffee in a porcelain cup in 2022 and not longer a coffee to go like in the past months and 12 months, for example. So this is promised to you for Vienna the next year.
Great. I'm going to hold you to that. And of course, as we
Yeah.
bring our session to a close, We would like to thank everybody that is taking the time to be part
Mhm.
of EBAday 2021. But I'll hand that over to you, Wolfgang.
Yes, also on myself and on behalf of my fellow board members, I would like to say thank you. Thank you to everybody who supports the EBAday. I think the delegates, speakers, moderators, exhibitors, and sponsors for signing up to our event and fulfilling it with life. And also a great thank you to the organizers at EBA side and on Finextor side.
Absolutely. And Wolfgang, we spoke earlier about getting rid of those echo chambers. But if I may, just for a moment, echo you and say, indeed, thank you to everybody for taking part.
Yep.
And also, it's been an absolute pleasure joining you for your opening remarks.